Hi guys, my name's Seb Tudor, I'm the man on the Silver Mountain, and today I wanted to talk about truth, because I've had a few conversations over the last little while, and I wanted to talk about very much objective truth, because objective truth is a thing that you can't really argue against. You know, it's the state of the universe, it's the way in which we understand the world in a unsubjective sense. And so, how is that? How are objective truths found? Some of them are found by meticulous examination. Yeah. For example, you can say that the Mona Lisa is smiling. That is a thing that you can do when you look at that painting, and on consensus, you can break that down. But most objective, truly objective truths are found through the scientific method. Yeah. For example, we now know that DNA are substantial building blocks in regards to most, if not all, living creatures, especially on this planet. You know, it's an objective truth that was found through very interesting means. And with truth, you can't just push it aside, brush it off, or ignore it. There's no two ways around that. An objective truth is just that. It's subjective. Yeah? With truth, especially coming through the scientific method, or coming to it through the scientific method, with science, you don't need to just put your trust in it. It will come to you and prove to you. It will provide the quantitative evidence. Because regardless of what people tell you, everything in the universe can be quantified. Just because we haven't quantified it yet doesn't mean that it won't be eventually. The thoughts in your brain, the way that you're composed, all of the various different structures throughout your body, all of the various structures throughout the universe, every single one of them can be broken down mathematically and demonstrated. Yeah? The behaviors that you have, all of them being in one way affected by, to an extent, your environment, but very much so by your genetics and the predispositions you have, and and the structures throughout your brain, and the various messages being sent back and forth within it. You can monitor those behaviors through things like MRI scans to see the way that the brain interacts and reacts. Do we have a 100% model of understanding all of those things as yet? No. Doesn't mean we won't. Well, considering we're already getting to a point, as I mentioned in other videos, of sending thoughts from one person to another via the internet, yeah, we're getting there. We're able to start working those things around and making it work. It's only a matter of time before it becomes far easier to quantify and work with those things. But why am I making this video? Well, as said, some of the conversations that I've had recently, to one degree or another, people aren't looking at quantitative evidence. They're taking an awful lot more from anecdotal and so on and so forth. Let's take a look at some of the biggest messes this year in regards to things like Brexit, in regards to things like Trump. Are they, those two things, the best things in terms of the numbers for the countries that they're in? Yeah? No, probably not. The economic argument was very much one in regards to against Trump and against Brexit. But what it comes down to is what caused those things to go ahead. What caused Trump to get voted in? What caused Brexit to get pushed ahead? Well, it was outrage. It was emotion. It was anecdote. It was all the terrible stories that were being told, all the lies that were put up in the media. You know, all of those things. With Trump, he was the anti-establishment candidate. They didn't want the same again. It was that outrage. It was people, normal good people to one degree or another, being called things and being, you know, traitors to their gender in regards to women who didn't vote for Hillary. You know, it was a case of, if you're going to start insulting people and throwing people around like that, then yeah, guess what? They're going to go the other way out of outrage, out of that emotion. They're not going to look at the numbers. They're not going to care about anything else, because they go into a little place at the back of their mind and it drives them to things, because lots of people do not have the awareness, have not taken the time to understand that they can control themselves and their emotions are purely under their control. There's no one else involved, it's only them. But that's a topic for another video if I've not already done it by the time I've recorded this one. But what it comes down to is with truth, you can't ignore it. It is a solid foundation for every discussion, because it means that there is always that commonality between people because you live in one universe. It has its own substance. You may very well be part of that substance given consciousness of a sort so that you can then appreciate itself. But guess what? The universe has substance. The truth of the matter is that we're all meat bags driven by all kinds of reactions inside our bodies to fulfill various tasks, and the rest, all of the other reactions that we have, are just consequential. Yeah, they don't mean anything really in the grand scheme of things. And as a result, can you ignore truth? Is there any way to ignore truth? No. If you start ignoring truth, if you start ignoring the quantitative evidence, if you start ignoring the actuality of the state of the universe, the immutable state of the universe, the fact that things are one way, and at the very least, at the present time, we are not men-made gods and cannot alter those things. There are certain things that we can change through science, through the methods and the progress made from finding those truths. Yeah? Things like the fact that microwaves exist and how we can manipulate them allows you to cook food. You know, it's a simple advancement made from a truth being found to a truth then being worked with. Yeah? If you ignore the truth, if you ignore the foundation, then you may as well be building a tower on sand. And that's where these conversations break down. If you try and build a conversation with no fact as a basis, and it's all emotion, it's all outrage, it's all upset, then you're never going to have a conversation. It's going to be a tower built on sand. It's going to collapse. You're not going to get anywhere. And as a result, the facts, the truths, the objective truths, the ones that completely stand outside of ideology, outside of all of these other things, those are the things that need to be taken into account for a good conversation. Otherwise, you're having two different conversations, there are attacks going every which way, and it doesn't make any sense. The truth is the core, the truth is the foundation. It's now, more so than ever, easier to find the actual truth. We have, as you and I, especially considering you're watching me on the internet, have access to the vast repository of human information. All of that information in regards to scientific studies going on, in regards to the maths, in regards to the information that's being passed around about all manner of things, crime statistics, the genetic information that is in every single one of us and how it does things, information on disease, information on politics, information on demographics, information on societies and the way that they have grown and the way that they have shrunk and the various other patterns that you can be seen. All of these things quite easily stand out in the quantitative form, and many of them have been very deeply investigated to one extent or another over the years. In which case, we've got no excuse for not digging into the truth first. Dig your heels onto that bedrock, and do not be moved to fall. That conversation that you have on that solid ground will allow for greater growth and greater progress than anything built on emotion, built on outrage, built on upset, built on any of those things that have proven to cause so shakier a platform in modern years. What do you guys think? Truth, worthwhile? Good foundation? Or not? Please let me know down in the comments below. Otherwise, if you found this at all interesting, please drop me a like and subscribe for more, and I will see you in the video tomorrow. Take care, guys.